Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to discuss about the book The Success Sutra by the author Devdutt Pattanaik. And in this book, the author brings those ancient scriptures and concepts from Hindu, Buddhism, Chinese, Greek, and each and every other concept from East, Western concept, and Chinese, and every other concept, and brings that essence of the lessons that have been discussed in the stories of the ancient literature such as Ramayana, Mahabharata, and more specifically the scriptures from Hindu history. And in this book, the author brings those stories while considering how we can succeed in our life by learning those lessons from the stories and applying the main essence of those lessons in our daily life. And now coming to, let's say, to become successful, we need to manage other people. And by managing other people, how do we manage them? Let's understand it with an example. In Hindu gods, Shiva, Brahma, Vishnu, if the gods don't have an answer for a specific problem, they go to Indra, the Lord of Gods. And if the Lord of the Gods, Indra, don't have the answer, then he will go to Brahma. And if Brahma doesn't have the answer, then he will go to Vishnu and Shiva. And even if Shiva don't know the answer, then he will go to Shakti, or let's say the female form of the main god. And in this way, let's say if the main devas who are going to Indra, well, let's consider if the main power Shakti will solve the problem, then instead of going through all these gods, those gods will go to the main power Shakti, and to overcome it and to bring value to each and every god in the hierarchy, let's say the Shakti, or let's say the female version of the supreme god, will consider Shiva's perspective and solves Shiva's problem, so that Shiva can identify why he can't solve the previous problem, and the main female power will solve Shiva's problem, so that Shiva can solve Vishnu's problem, so that Vishnu can solve Brahma's problem, so that Brahma can solve the Lord Indra's problem, and Indra can solve the other god's problem. Like it's like a hierarchy where each and every individual aspect is valued and recognized. And even in the scriptures, there are a lot of concepts. Like in one scripture, they will say Vishnu is the supreme god. In other scriptures, they will say Lord Shiva is the supreme god. And in other scriptures, they will say the female version of the Lord, or let's say Shakti, or in that essence, they will say she is the main god. And now we are not discussing about who is the supreme god, but we are seeing the example in this concept, like hierarchies in our daily life. While we go through our work, we will see hierarchies in our office, in the government. Each and every role is particularly important, and instead of the main person solving the core problem, if the main person will solve the problem in a way that each and every other individual person in the hierarchy feels valued and needed, then in the overall sense, each and every other person will grow from that situation. And this is the main example, or let's say the lesson we have learned from this hierarchy example. In the similar way, there are a lot of lessons described in the book, which are practically applied in our daily life with, and the author discusses those lessons with examples from our daily lives and from the spiritual Hindu gods like Vishnu, Shiva. And if you want to become successful, there is also a story that goes back to ancient Indian history, or let's say Bharatiya history. And there was a person, I don't remember his name, but he was in Swarga, and the Devatas, or let's say the gods, told him that you should go to earth and you should see, you should find one person, at least one person, who will remember your past deeds when you are in a human form. And if you find that one person, then only then you will come back to Swarga. So he went to earth and found and tried to find the single person, any one person who knows that who he is and what he did when he was a king in living in earth. And while coming to earth, he noticed that after living so many years in this Vargaloka, the earth is not recognizable and his kingdom is not there. Anything, even a tiny small detail is not there. Everything is changed because time changes everything. And he went to the oldest human, oldest bird, and they don't know about him. Then he went to the oldest of the oldest tortoise who lives there, and that tortoise remembers a story that his grandfather, I mean, that tortoise grandfather had told that about this specific king. And what did the king do? And to attain Svargaloka, he had donated or given a lot of cows to the other people, and he thought that he will be remembered for this specific deed. But the reality is that due to some other actions, instead of remembering for this deed, the cows made some walking, or let's say some low level surface, and in that surface the water has been gone through and it has formed like a lake. And in that lake there are a lot of trees surrounded by, and a lot of animals, or let's say birds, fishes, and living in the lake. And in that lake, that tortoise is living right now. Like, in the similar way, we think that if we are going where we will be remembered for this specific action in our life after we go to these other worlds. But the reality is that we may be remembered due to some other actions, like the one action discussed in the previous example about the king. In the similar way, we need to focus on our present actions and what we can do right now, instead of focusing on what results we can achieve, or let's say what success we can achieve in our life. Because let's consider Lord Rama's example, who is considered as a god. And Lord Rama was born as a human, and in his entire lifetime he behaved like a ideal human being, and he didn't do any mistake. But due to his other mother Kaikeyi, he was exiled into forest. And he also don't know that after coming out of forest after 14 long years, if he will get the throne or not. But even considering the situation, he went to the forest. In the similar way, in Kurukshetra period, in Pandavas Kauravas, the Pandavas thought that they are victims, that they went to the forest. Like, while considering these situations, there will be a lot of events happening in our daily lives. Even if we plan to the minute details and if we pre plan everything, there will be a sudden change or there will be something unexpected that messes our plans, and the result will be something different from what we have expected. It will be like a completely chaotic situation where we can't explain that how we have succeeded in this endeavor or how this endeavor has been failed or so. And finally, instead of focusing on the end result, if we focus on the actions we can do right now, then we can give our 100% in our life. And in the Hindu scriptures, it has been clearly mentioned that instead of chasing money, we should focus, or let's say we should attract money. Instead of becoming Lord Indra, who is the god of lords and who only focuses upon his self pleasure and what he wants, we should become Lord Vishnu, who attracts wealth. Like Lord Vishnu's wife is wealth. And in the similar way, if we focus on what the other person wants, and if we can satisfy other people's hunger, then our hunger will be satisfied as a byproduct. And finally, instead of focusing on our main hunger, we should focus on serving other people's hunger and satisfying them, so that our hunger will also be satisfied in the process. And with this, I'm concluding this video. See you next time. Thank you.